Hey everybody, how you going? Steve here. Welcome back to Command Centre Wargaming. Alright everybody, I'm feeling a lot better today. My voice has started to come back a little bit. Still a little bit croaky though. Still a little bit sore, but all good. Like, you know, what can you do? You know, just recovering from that pain. So today's video is basically just going to be a bit of a kickback video. We are going to have a little bit of a chat about some Shadowspear list building stuff. I was chatting to Only Adonis about it on the phone today, and we're having a little bit of a chat. Like, you know, everybody has been excited for these new Shadowspear Marines, and I'm certainly still excited, you know, and I'm going to be getting the box and stuff like that. I don't know if I'm going to be running out there, you know, and grabbing it like first thing now, like I thought I'd be doing, you know, and being in some mad rush. But I'm definitely going to be getting it. But it's just now that we have the points values, it's kind of just like there are a few things in the box which I'm kind of a little bit, you know, thinking twice about now. So originally, look, when I first saw it, I was just like, holy Emperor of Man, I want this box, I need this box. And I'm still like that, don't get me wrong. Like, I'm still flipping out, I still want the box, I still need the box. But it's kind of just like, you know, I was going to literally revamp my entire army as a Phobos, you know, Space Marine army, and maybe just have like a couple of squads of, say, intercessors, like the old intercessors and stuff, and then that was going to be it. But then I was kind of like, well, you know, wait and see what happens with the rules, and then go through a look at the rules, and we've got the rules now, and then we can see now, and I'm not surprised that things are just like a tiny little bit overcosted in places, especially like the Obliterator, which is, in my opinion, like very much overcosted. I think it's a pretty hard nerf. You know, like there are currently like 115 per Oblit, and they are very good stats wise. They do have the potential for a lot of firepower. But when you're thinking about it, and it's like, you know, you think you take 3 of those guys, and it's like you're pretty much taking, you know, that's pretty much like half your army kind of thing. But I suppose, like, I mean, with wounds, you think about it, between them, they're like 9 wounds, and, you know, I don't know, it might be about right. I think it just basically seems a little bit, maybe just seems a little bit overcosted. We really have to get them on the table and play them. We can run some sims, because now, like, we have the points costs and the rules, we can actually run some sims and stuff and run some proxy games if we really want to. But I still feel, as though Obliterators should have been probably about maybe 90 each, right? Maybe 95 each, to be fair. I don't think they should have copped 115, which is what I remember they were. So, you know, it's basically a bit of a push and pull there. The Chaos Space Marine stuff is, you know, is pretty much the same in terms of units. We got some pretty cool Demon Engine, the Venom Crawler, which is good. It's a really good assault unit, you know, and so that's all going to be good. I think that's going to be seeing some play, because that's fairly well pointed. I think it was around about 130 or something like that from memory. And the rest of it is pretty stock standard. But in this video, I want to talk more about Marines. So, because I'm going to be doing my army list, and I thought, well, look, what am I going to talk about today? Because I mean, you know, we've got enough content on Shadowspear and, you know, and stuff like that. I was going to talk about something else, and I was just like, well, you know, no, we should be talking about Shadowspear. But you know, all the other channels and that have pretty much covered a lot of the point stuff now. You know, and I thought, look, you know, I want to respect the viewer's time and everything. So, you know, I always try to make, you know, a contributing content onto the channel. So, you know, I thought, well, you know, we're having a chat today, and I thought, you know what, I might share my list, one of my lists, not point for point, because I haven't even worked it out point for point yet. But I thought that I'd just share one of my lists with you guys and basically see what your opinion was. See if you thought it was strong, see if my tactics were just, or maybe they're flawed, or basically, you know, maybe it's a load of waffle. You know, you might think those tactics are good, you know, the list is good, but you might want to add a few things to it. So, you know, like, let me know in the comments down below, everybody, what you think about the list and everything like that. So, you know, and I'll give you a little bit of chat about it, and that would be good. So, like I said, originally I was just gonna have like the whole box. I was gonna have, man, I want 3 squads of eliminators, I want 3 squads of suppressors. All my captains are gonna be like from the Phobos box. I'll just have Calgar in there somewhere, whatever, you know, because I haven't painted him up yet. I'm halfway through painting him now. He's looking really good, I reckon. I'm not going to show him yet because I don't want to spoil it. Kind of like, you know, devalues it. I'll do like a showcase video for that. And, you know, and that was basically going to be the list. And it was just, you know, eliminators and that. But, you know, I was kind of having a think and having a chat with Only Adonis today. And, you know, he's kind of the same. You know, he was thinking like, you know, oh yeah, you know, like, you know, we're going to use everything from this box. But now he's like, oh, I don't know, I'm going to pull away from some units. And he's pulled away from suppressors. I've pulled away. I haven't pulled away from suppressors. I'm actually still saying that they're a very strong unit in the Codex. And here are the reasons why. So, number one, they're 33 points, right, per model. They have the autocannon, right, the Artificer autocannon or whatever it was, the augmented autocannon. I can't remember now what they called it verbatim. But the thing is, it's 2 damage. It's minus AP2. It is only, it's got a medium strength. So from what memory, it was like strength 7, which isn't amazing, but you're going to get through stuff. You know, and the thing is with these guys is, for 33 points, they're cheaper than Inceptors, right? Which are the other flying alternatives, which are designed to hit infantry and soft targets and light vehicles. Okay, these things are basically hitting on, they're hitting more of a higher echelon of target. I'll just see if I can find them here, because we're talking about them, so I might just have them on my screen here. This video, it's more of a sit and listen, guys, sit and chat. You know, if you're mowing the lawn, or you're falling asleep, or you're painting, this is just going to be like one of those videos that, you know, you can just plug into your headphones and listen to. I like to listen to stuff while I paint as well. So, you know, I know Adam Fox was telling me, he's like, Steve, I prefer the longer videos, because, you know, I like to listen to them while I'm doing stuff. You know, Daz was telling me that, like, like, yeah, Steve, like, longer videos are good. I do them while I mow my lawn and stuff like that. I think it was Daz. It might be Lion's Pride. I can't remember now. One of you said it. Anyway, whatever. And so it's basically, but it also gives you a chance to give feedback too. You know, like, I want to hear your thoughts on it. You know, this is what this channel is about. It's a discussion channel. It's a, you know what I mean? It's a theory channel. It's, you know, there are plenty of other channels you can go to for painting tutorials and, you know, and all that kind of stuff, and the news and all that. I mean, we do the news really well, you know, and that. So, but, like, you know, there's other channels, but really I've created this channel. I want it to be more of like a theory channel where, you know, you think about, you know, list building, coming up with new lists. We all come up, you know, with lists together. We talk about what's strong, what's not. You know, we have a bitch about price rises, stuff like that. Don't get me started. I had to cut a whole video out of my catalog because I went on this massive rant and about, like, GW's price rises increases. But I just decided, well, you know, we all know what's going on, so I'm just going to shut up and just, you know, get on with the content, because, again, there are other channels where you can just hear a guy bitching all day, right? So, you know. So the thing is basically that, like, yeah, and then, so, Only Adonis's point was, and this is, as I said, look, you know, like, they're cheaper than Intercessors, all right? Sorry, Inceptors. And then Only Adonis said, he said, yes, but, like, I've got Hellblasters to do what the suppressors can do, right? And the thing is at first I went, oh, holy crap, you're absolutely right. Why would you bother putting in, like, you know, autocannon, like, suppressors, when you can just shoot Hellblasters and it's all good. And like Hellblasters, I think, you know, with one of the I think with the long range Hellblaster, the heavy plasma incinerator, from memory, they were 33 points. They might even be 36 points. I'll have to check that. But anyway, they're not far off. They're not far off the suppressors, right? I'm pretty sure they're like, they might even be 33s, 36, somewhere along that range. You know, and so the thing is like, yeah. And I thought, look, you know, you got a point, and he still has a point, and like 100%, and I still think it's a very good point to make. But the thing is with the suppressors is you have to understand, and what I think happened with these guys is that Games Workshop made them good, but without making them good. So they did the right thing, but for the wrong reason, right? Sort of like Captain Picard when he was, you know, a Borg, you know, and all this kind of stuff. Anyway, but my point is that I don't quite think they thought this out. They basically said, okay, we're going to have a fast attack. We're going to have like a version of Inceptor, which is going to come down, deep strike. It's going to sell. People are going to love it. And it's going to be able to take out medium to heavy armor, right? And people love autocannons. And we're going to give them this big, massive gun, right? You know, and stick 2 balls on the front of it, okay? And literally just have it, you know, people are going to buy it. And we'll make a 48-inch range because that's just what autocannons do, like of that caliber and all this kind of stuff. But I don't think they quite realised, you know, they were trying to, you know, what they've essentially done is that they have replaced, in a way, Devastator squads, right? But they haven't actually replaced it. They've actually made them better, in my opinion. Because the thing is, with the minus AP2, you've got 2 shots coming out of all autocannons, right? You're getting 2 damage. You'll be on 3s to hit, right? You'll be on 3s to hit. And, you know, if you put like them near a commander and you get your rerolls, you're going to be hitting. And you don't need to move these guys. Like, seriously, like, you don't even bother putting them on their jetpacks. What you got to do, and I've been saying this since like I saw the leaked rules, right? And you can go back to that video, is, you know, you want to create a gun line with these guys. They're suppressors. They're long-range firepower. And this is why I think that they're better than Hellblasters. Not better, but they come within their own, right? Like they're an addition. So in my army, which I'm putting together, which I'm going to talk to you guys about, basically, like, I've come up with a thing where I'm going to run, like, you know, a couple of squads of these guys, and I'm going to have a squad of Hellblasters, right? And these guys are going to be sitting up the back of the table in cover, right, with Calgar and his honor guard, right? So if these guys get charged, or if these guys get taken out, or these guys get a drop in, right, Calgar can basically deal with whatever comes in. Not to mention your Ausspec scan, your Overwatch, all that kind of stuff that can deal with them. But Calgar will give these guys a chance. Calgar will probably die, whatever, right? You know, if like 3 are blitz, you know, deep strike in or something like that, or whatever, you know, or Terminators deep strike in away, you know, a whole bunch of them, chances are Calgar will die, but he'll hold them off for like 4 turns, right? 3 turns, 2 turns even. And you got to remember, and this is why I rate these guys, because they're movement 12, right? So what's the biggest problem, right, with Devastators? You leave them at the back of the field, right? And then your other army goes up forward, right? And then they get flanked, or someone warps in, or someone comes from the side or whatever. And then all of a sudden, these guys get charged, and then they're all dead, and you're losing las cannons, you're losing heaps of points, right? So it's kind of like, you know, with this, if someone's coming, right, number one, you could probably put one of those inhibitor fields around it, so no one's warping in 12 way. They do come in range. Calgar jumps into action, right, heroically intervenes in, you know, because he's a character, right? So you know, he could theoretically intervene on whatever's going on. These guys pack up their crap and fly off 12 away. And if they're charged, they can fall back. And Ultramarines, well, they don't even need to be Ultramarines. They can fly and then they can shoot as well. And they can just pack up their stuff and basically just get out of there. So like, you know, or they can just join in with Calgar and just add, you know, like melee attacks in there. Even if they're hitting on 5s or 6s, who gives a crap? Right? But they're still, you know, you're still going to get, you know, additional rolls. You know, but I would just, honestly, I would just fly them off. Because they got the fly keyword, you can literally just pick them up. They could be in cover too. And do yourselves a favor, model them without the bases. So that way, that's what I'm going to do. I'm not putting not without the bases, sorry, without the stands. I'm actually going to model mine without the stands. There's no rule that says like the stands have got to be on them. That way, I can hide them in buildings and crap. They can't be seen. Right? So, you know, why have them popping up on top of like, you know, this building going, hey, everybody. Oh yeah, I can see you, man. I can shoot you. I mean, even if they do, you know, what has a range 48? And this is what I'm saying, and this is my other point. If you deploy these guys right up the back of the table, right? You basically sit in there and you create like a bit of a chain with it. You have your suppressors here, then like, because you've got to be within Calgar's reroll bubble. So then 6 away you have Calgar, right? And then 6 away again, which is 12 inches or more because of the Calgar's base. Then you have your Hellblasters coming in at their range 36 doing their work. And then Calgar's right in the middle. He can jump in there. He can do things. So if anyone gets attacked, Calgar could run in. 48 away. What's going to reach 48 away? Other autocannons, las cannons. Right? That's what I could think of. Right? Most of the other armies, they're shooting at 24 to 30 max. So the only other stuff I could think of that'll get up to 48 would be like las cannons, some of the like, you know, more, you know, so exotic weaponry, you know, maybe hydras and things like that. Who'll be on like, you know, +1 to hit anyway, because they're going to be attacking stuff that's up in the sky mostly. Anything on the ground, they're going to be on a +1 to hit. So they're usually like hitting these guys on a 4. They'll be hitting them on 5s. Right? So good luck with that. Big deal. You know, if you want, have an apocryphy there. You know, personally, I feel the apocryphy would be a waste of points. But so even what I'm saying is, right, like even if, unless it's a Zinch army or a Grey Knights army where they're going to get up the board, or another Marine army where they've got a whole bunch of Phobos guys just deploying in your deep strike zone, chances are so not your deep strike zone, deploying outside your deep strike, your deployment zone, right, 9 away, and you're going to know about that anyway, right? If you guys, you know, just set these guys up last, right? Chances are you're going to see if one of your opponents is going to come in and start, you know, setting up Phobos Marines and stuff everywhere and doing the whole, you know, thing. And if that happens, guys, you just fly them off, right? Their movement 12, they can advance another 6, right? So you shoot these guys off, deploy them like in the middle of the table somewhere, or like just off to the side, but not completely on the side, to give them a little bit of room to move. Or 9 away, just make sure you don't allow like an area for them to like deep strike in. Make sure you keep your bubble up. Just, my point is, you know, think tactically about where you're going to deploy these guys. And then just sit them in the cover. And so that's the thing. Oh yeah, Steve, no worries. My las cannons will shoot at these guys. Sweet. Sweet. Like seriously, please use your las cannon on shooting my 33 point model that's in cover. Please do that. That's lovely. Awesome. You're going to waste las cannon shots. You're deflecting that stuff off vehicles, other hard targets that basically, you know, are going to be left to do what they want because the opponent is throwing las cannons at these dudes. And that's where my list comes in. And it's not completely me. Like, I'm not going to take credit for it completely, because it was only Adonis and I, we both thought about it, like, pretty much at the same time. We were just discussing stuff. And, like, he made a suggestion, and then I added something, and then vice versa. And until it got to a point where, like, he's basically like, he'll see, and I'm like, okay, I think I've got my list, you know, ready to go. But I want you guys to give me your opinion. But, so it's like this, right? Over all my research over the years, playing games, watching other YouTubers, you know, mostly just playing my own games, keeping track of the meta, basically in the tournaments and stuff. This is what I've gathered about the rules, what I consider to be Steve's rules of war. All right, this is how I play Warhammer. When I make a list, I'm basically thinking this, right? First of all, I want every single unit on every single turn doing something, killing something, right? Because that's what the game is all about. It's about math, right? You've got 2,000 numbers, 2,000 integers on this end. You got 2,000 integers on that end, right? 2,000 point game, 4,000 points. You know, your job should not be to keep half your army in reserve for a whole turn. Yes, of course, there are certainly circumstances that you would do that, especially objective-based games, mission-based games, certain setups. But generally, I personally feel if your stuff can shoot the first turn, it should be. Right? Like, I read something in a Custodes group the other day. Someone was talking about their Teleon Dreadnought, you know, putting double fists on it and basically putting it in and having it deep strike down turn 2 and, like, smashing a tank or two. And he was like, you know, brutal, guys, you know, and then including myself, but an array of other people basically jumped on and were like, dude, like, but here's a gun platform. Why would you just coming in on turn 2, you miss out on turn 1, and maybe you destroy a tank, right? But then everything else runs away from you, you know, turn 3, 4, and then you're doing nothing. So you've wasted, like, you know, 4 turns of putting damage on. So, like, the idea would be to basically have that thing in the back. You know, why just come in strong on turn 2? Why not have him there, field him up the back, the guy's ranged up, and just have him working turn 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Have him doing the work, you know what I mean? Like, if it goes to 6. You know, have him doing the work. You know, every turn is an opportunity for you to diminish your other army's points, which basically means that your army, like his army, has less chance of killing your army. Yeah, it's like the hourglass, right? It's basically like that. You're tipping the scales. With every, I think Commissar Gamza said this in one of his videos I watched like ages ago. And he basically said, like, if you're charging, you know, if you're charging units and you're not wiping out the unit with a charge, you're doing something wrong. Every single model that you remove from play are points that he cannot remove from you. So I don't get the whole thing, like, you know, like about, oh yeah, I'll have some Terminators, they'll be in deep strike, they'll come in turn 2. Put them in a freaking Storm Raven. Okay, you know, if, you know, get them up there. Get them up to the front, turn 1, get them there. Yes, your Storm Raven might die, but as long as the Storm Raven gunship is doing, you know, taking away the points, right, that are costed, that's fine, let it die. As long as it kills some stuff, pops a tank on the way in, or kills a fair few infantry on the way in. Hang on a sec, guys. I just had to kill a spider. It's the Black Legion, all right? So as long as it's doing its work on the table, then, you know, it doesn't really matter. So you got these guys up the back in cover, right? I don't know how many yet. Maybe like, you know, 9 of these guys, and then, or 6 of these guys. I have to do the points, and then maybe 7 to 10 Hellblasters, okay? which will be like a quarter of my army. Then Calgar will come in roughly 200. I mean, you know, 200 points plus a he gives 2 command points. You know, and he will be enough to fend off anything, any assault, just to buy these guys some time. Give him his honor guard. Chuck a few veterans around him with storm shields, just to put in a little bit of Dakar next to him. They're cheap, guys. They're very, very cheap. You know, with the new bolter rules, you're getting 4 shots at 30. They're not moving. You just deploy them there. Even if they hadn't moved, you're still doing the, you know, you're getting 2 shots. You still, you know, so, you know, and that's it, right? And then whatever, if there's points left over, then you can add some more stuff. But the idea behind this list is that you're going to go half Blood Angels, half Ultramarine, right? The other thing that I've gotten through, you know, listening to professional players and stuff like that, and having it work also in my experience as well, is that to have a strong list, you need to exercise all the phases. We already spoke about that. So you need to have maybe 2 Psykers in there, right? Have the new Librarian from Shadowspear. Make him a Blood Angel, though, so he can deep strike up the front, do some smiting. And then maybe, like, or even have 2 of them, like 2 of those Psykers up the front. Because you want to be denying the Witch as well. Because otherwise, you're basically going to be foregoing, like, a whole combat phase. But it's like this. It's always a mix, mostly a mix between ranged and melee and psychic phase that have the strongest lists. That's what I've seen via research, right? Now, tell me if I'm wrong. If you disagree in the comments, just tell me, right? But it's like, you know, if I just have a complete gunline ranged army, sooner or later, you know, it's going to be exploited, right? So an experienced player is going to identify that weakness and he's going to get himself up there, all right? You know, if I have an all melee army, which is what were one of Custode's downfalls, which, you know, because obviously they just didn't have the bodies, but also the fact that there's too much was relying on melee, so they would just get, like against Tau. I remember playing like a game against Tau, and I literally like just got greater good slammed, you know, and there's my, doesn't matter, they got 2 up saves, you know, you pump 100 shots into those guys, they're going down, right? And then bam, that's, you know, that's your thing going on. So the idea would be is to basically have those things going on, and then, you know, have half ranged, half melee army with psychic in the middle. This already, if you follow these tactics, in my opinion, you're already setting yourself up for a good balanced, you know, game, and increasing your probability of a favorable outcome substantially, because it also forces your opponent to think. It also, you know, he can't just say, oh, this is just a ranged army. Sweet as, you know, I'm just going to like charge him with all these dudes, or just drop artillery on him. I'll outrange the range or whatever, or, you know, or if it's a close combat army, I'll just run away from him all game, like Tau will do with their vehicles, like against Custodes before they got their vehicles. So, you know, you've really got to go for it. It's going to give you the balance. You know, and I mean, you know, you could switch this up. It doesn't have to be Ultramarines. I just picked Ultramarines because I want that fall back and shoot option, because once my opponent figures out that these guys, these 9 guys sitting down there laying out dedicated firepower, reliable firepower, a reliable 2 damage. It's like there's 3 of them in a squad. They have 2 shots each. They're re-rolling. Chances are, you know, the average is 6. Just if you roll above average, you're going to get 7 wounds, la la la. You know, you're looking at getting near to like, you know, maybe 10 damage sort of thing. That's enough to destroy a light vehicle, and you could put wounds into stuff. You know, and it's death by 1,000 cuts for these guys. The idea is that they're not going to kill crap in one turn. They're not going to win you the game in one turn. But what it's about is not having your opponent realizing that these guys every turn from their damage are going to be bleeding your list of stuff that's key critical. And that's what it's about, right? And because they're so far back, they're actually a massive obstacle for your player to get stuff down there. And even if they're like, oh, that's no problem by me, like I'm just going to go through, I'll get to them, and you get to them, you still are going to be spreading your psychological play over to defeating those guys. So you're tactically going to be thinking about those guys up the back while you've got a whole army of blood angels up the front. And I'm talking about Reavers, squad of 10, maybe more, a smash captain, right? Or even 2 smash captains, the Phobos lieutenant from the Shadowspear kit as a blood angel, because he's going to give him reroll to wound. Your smash captain is going to give him reroll to hit, right? You got 10 Reavers there. They're then basically -1 to wound because of them being blood angels. Then for command points, put in 5 squads of just chainsaw scouts. Right? And you literally just, and whatever's left over in points, I don't know. I haven't worked it out yet. But this is the core of my army so far. And the idea is, I might even put like Ultramarine scouts up the front as well. Maybe with some bolters within 30, just to act as a little bit of buffer, right? Between it. So like, you know, and so that like, you know, it's hard to get to these guys because you're dealing with like the smash captains and stuff. And you know what? Oh, you want to just ignore the blood angels? No worries, because smash captain's moving 12 as well. And here he comes. And maybe you keep one in deep strike. He comes down, turn 2. So that's my point, right? So this is my thought, my school of thought, you know. So you've got an epic ranged detachment. You've got an epic melee detachment. You've got psychers, you know, putting on smites, giving buffs. All right, just an overall deterrent, really, as well. And just, you know, you've got to make sure you're doing something in the psychic phase, guys. When you're, you know, you really, like, unless it's something absolutely critical, you know, you really should at least have 1 psyker in your army every game, because otherwise you're missing a whole turn of play. Right? Where you're going to be, you know, where you're going to miss an opportunity to lower your opponent's ability to lower your points. Right? That's how it works. And that's why with Warhammer, we have so many first turn problems, as I like to call them, because he who goes first gets to already, you know, weather that army down to a point. So then that army has less chance of fighting back with what they've got. All right, so that's the thing. Now, the other thing why I rate these suppressors moreover than the Hellblasters, or why I think they're worth taking in as an alternative, is the fact that everybody is forgetting their primary function. What is the name of these guys, everybody? Suppressors. Their ability. I just told you about all these scouts and you'd be like, hey, Steve, but you know, that's rubbish. All those scouts are just going to get blown off the table in Overwatch. That's where these guys come in. In the first turn, only one of your guys has to kill one of the guys in the other squad, and that squad cannot shoot Overwatch. So that means your scouts can then basically bust in there and hit them up. And this thing we're discussing with Oni Adonis, and he's saying, oh yeah, but like, you know, they'll get killed and stuff, and you know, Reavers have shot grenades, and they do, and I'm still going to take heaps of Reavers. I got them right here. But the thing is this, guys, like, you got to remember, the job of your scouts, they're not there to kill stuff, right? They're there for command point farming, because between those 2 squads, you already got 5 for being Battleforged, 5 for battalions, 5 for the Ultramarine battalion. Then you've got 3 for being Battleforged and 2 because Calgar's your warlord. So it's command points all day, every day. And if you want, put another guard, Loyal 32 in there as well if you want with some mortars. That'll work well. And you're up to 20 command points with Ultramarines, with Marines, with Astartes. Right? So, you know, it's basically like that. And the job of your scouts is not to kill the opponent. It's to stop them from doing stuff to you. So you're basically denying them the ability of action. Right? Because as long as your 50-point chainsword and bolter scout squad is in melee with that other squad, it either has to fall back and it can't shoot, it's not doing anything, or it has to kill that squad and it's not doing anything. So again, you're taking the opponent's ability, its points off them, which they cannot retaliate to you. And that's what I was saying today. It's all about, you know, for me, my mentality with scouts is that they're fodder, right? It's about tying up your 150-point unit for a turn, hopefully 2, with my 50-point unit, while the rest of my army does its work. So by the time that's dealt with, I can swing around and just clean the chaff up. All right? Because chaff is a distraction most of the time. All right? It is important to kill it, but it's the way I see it, it's a distraction. So that's basically where my list is heading. That's basically where my list is heading. And I think I'm really excited about it because we all know Blood Angels, like Smash Captains, I mean, like, they need no explanation. You could put 3 of them in there and it'd be awesome. And plus the Reavers, they're all, and the Scouts, not only are the Scouts bringing command points, but they're all getting the aura abilities from the Blood Angels Lieutenant and his Phobos, so he can deep strike right up. No, not deep strike. He can conceal positions. So you can use your stratagem to get your Smash Captain across the board, reposition him ready to go within 9. Right? And you can use a stratagem to get him in on a 3. They can't overwatch him anyway. But then you got your Lieutenant there, ready to go, surrounded by your already buffing your Scouts, right? Because they're going to be concealed positions as well. And then turn 2, the Reavers drop in. Hopefully, your Smash Captain should be alive to give them buffs. If not, put 2 of them in there. Right? And then all the while, and you can see where this is going, so like, your opponent is going to be like, holy crap, I've got to deal with this. And this is a problem. Most armies, there's only one way of doing it. You deal with it or you die. Right? Or you run. Not all armies can run. Maybe Eldar, Dark Eldar, you might be able to flight off. You might be able to dog it out of there. Slippery Eldar, just jink it out. But with most armies, you got to deal with this stuff going on in the front. This Blood Angel threat, first turn threat, knocking at your freaking doorstep. Right? Now, or it's going to finish you off. But here's the thing. You got to deal with the back line too, or that's going to finish you off. So even if it's not an uber win, it's giving your opponent, it's forcing your opponent to think in different areas, which is going to throw them out. And I just thought of something else as well. You know what? I haven't pointed this up yet, but this might be a fantastic time to bring in some Grey Knights. I'm thinking for the Alpha Strike, Baby Carrier, he gates himself first turn over to the front line as well. Here we go. Here's a 2-up friggin' save, big thunder hammer thing. Oh my gosh, in your face. There's another thing for him to shoot at. And then maybe you put in some, what are they called? Interceptors. I think they're called interceptors, not inceptors. There's so many I's now. Like, Games Workshop must be obsessed with the word I. Intercessors, injectors. Is that even one of them? I don't know. Probably soon. Inceptors, interceptors, intergressors, and whatever. Okay, so interlopers. That'll be a new one. The interloper. All right. So basically, and then you gate all that stuff up there. And if you don't go first, we just keep them in cover. You know, like Grey Knights come down a fair bit in points, and although, you know, I don't think the Interceptors did, I think they actually went up a point. I can't remember now, but still, who cares? They're still got the Astartes keyword from memory. I have to double check that. But like Astartes keyword, they're going to get bolter thing. So you could even gate them 30 away. Because here's the thing. If they psychic power themselves over, that, to my knowledge, happens in the psychic phase, not the movement phase. Right? So it's not counted as a move, so they should still be able to shoot as well. That's the way I would play these guys. This is my list. This is where I'm heading with my list. Like I said, I haven't pointed it out yet. Guys, thanks for watching once again. If you're not a subscriber to the channel, please consider subscribing to the channel. I'm planning to have this showcase video soon when I finish Calgar and his Victrix Honor Guard. I'll do the showcase video there, and I'll have a chat about, like, you know, how I got to him and how I got to the scheme and stuff. Also, you know, I'm going to do another video probably tomorrow. There's a bit of news on Kill Team, with Custodes being added to the Kill Team, you know, the Kill Team roster, which is something that I want to discuss, which I think is quite awesome. So, yeah. All right, everybody. Well, look, I might leave it there. I'm not sure how long that video is now, but I think it's about 45 to 45 minutes. You know, I got to be honest. I think I've said everything that I need to say. So anything else that I was really saying would probably just be me wasting your time, and I don't really want to do that. You know, just thank you all for subscribing, and I'll see you in the next video, guys. Oh yeah, and the on to the 800 draw, everybody. I'm probably going to be sending those prizes out tomorrow to the winners of the 700. So don't worry, I haven't shipped them yet. I haven't even read my emails. I've been busy at work, so congratulations to the winners as well. And I'll catch you later, brother Marines and sisters of battle. Take care, everybody. I'll see you in the next one.